I joked about needing a bride. The vampire queen arrived to claim me as hers. Jalen Morrow never meant for his words to travel across the stars. It was a drunken jest, muttered in the noisy barracks of Outpost 7, a mining colony on the edge of human-held space. Supplies were low, morale lower, and the endless night of the void pressed on their sanity. When a crewmate teased him about his bachelorhood, Jalen raised his glass and laughed. Fine then. Someone send me a bride. Preferably tall, terrifying, and immortal. At least she'd outlast my bad luck. Laughter echoed. Someone recorded it, spliced it into a comms broadcast, and hurled it into the void as a prank. No one thought it would be answered. Part 1. The Arrival. 3 nights later, the sky tore open. An obsidian ship, veined with crimson light, descended upon Outpost 7. Its hull looked less like metal and more like bone. The colony's defenses powered up, alarms screamed, and miners scrambled for weapons. Then the ship landed, its ramp unfolding with liquid grace. From the shadows emerged a woman draped in armor that shimmered like dark silk, her pale skin glowing beneath the starlight. Her eyes were crimson, her smile lined with fangs. "I heard a summons," she said, her voice echoing like a chorus of bells and thunder. A human called for a bride. Every colonist froze. Jalen felt all eyes on him, and when she pointed, her clawed fingers steady, she whispered, "You." Part 2. The Claim. They called her Seraphine, Queen of the Crimson Court. Her name was a curse whispered in spacer taverns, a legend used to scare children. She was the last of the vampire queens, a warlord who had ended empires and bent fleets to her will. And she had come for him. Jalen tried to laugh it off. "You must be mistaken. I was joking." Her smile widened. "On my world, words are binding. A vow, even made in jest, calls across blood and stars. You asked. I came." Before he could argue, her soldiers, shadows in humanoid form, descended the ramp. The colonists backed away, weapons lowered, unwilling to challenge forces they didn't understand. Seraphine approached, tilting Jalen's chin up with a claw. "Do not fear," she murmured. "I do not break what is mine. And now you are mine." Part 3. The Palace of Night. The vampire ship carried him to her domain, a hidden world orbiting a dying star, cloaked in perpetual twilight. Black spires rose like fangs across its surface. Rivers glowed crimson, and the very air hummed with ancient power. Seraphine did not cage him. She gave him chambers filled with silk and silver, feasts that replenished themselves, and servants that obeyed his slightest word. Yet he knew this was a gilded captivity. But something strange unsettled him. Seraphine treated him not as a prisoner, but as a partner. She dined with him, walked with him through gardens of black roses, asked about his childhood, his people, his dreams. When he mocked her, she laughed instead of killing him. When he challenged her, she smiled, amused. "You speak to me as though I am not a queen," she said one evening. "You came because of a joke," Jalen replied. "I'd say that makes us even." Her laughter rang like shattered glass. But beneath it, there was something else. Something almost lonely. Part 4. The Court's Rebellion. Not all welcomed the human. The Crimson Court, her generals, her warlords, seethed with fury. Immortal? At your side? He will weaken you. We demand his removal. But Seraphine silenced them with a glance. He is under my protection. Harm him, and you answer to me. Whispers turned to plots. Shadows moved in the halls. Jalen learned quickly. He was watched at every moment, his food tested, his bedchamber guarded. And yet, he did not cower. When assassins came in the night, It was Jalen who fought them first, wielding a stolen blade until Seraphine arrived in a storm of fire and blood. Together, they drove the traitors back. Afterward, Seraphine studied him with those crimson eyes. You risked yourself. For me. You risk yourself for me every time you keep me alive, he answered. Her smile this time was softer. Almost human. Part 5. The War. The rebellion swelled into open war. Half the Crimson Court defected, bringing fleets and armies. They saw Jalen as a weakness to exploit, a mortal chain that bound their queen. The first assault came swift, black ships blotting out the stars. Seraphine prepared for battle, her armor gleaming, her fangs bared. Jalen, desperate not to be a burden, volunteered to stand at her side. You are no soldier, she warned. I polished rifles on a mining outpost for 10 years, he said. If nothing else, I can pull a trigger. She laughed again. That rare, dangerous sound. Very well. Then stand with me. The battle was chaos. Vampiric warships clashed in orbit, their weapons singing songs of ruin. On the ground, shadows and fire danced through the night. Jalen fought beside Seraphine, clumsy but unyielding, his courage shocking even her warriors. And in the thick of battle, when her enemies shouted that she had grown weak, she raised her voice in defiance. Weak? Look upon him. This mortal stands while your kind cower. This is not weakness. This is strength. Part 6. The Bond. The rebellion was crushed, though the cost was high. The Crimson Court was broken, its remnants fleeing into the void. Seraphine's rule endured, but the galaxy had seen her bleed, seen her fight with a human at her side. When the fires cooled, Seraphine found Jalen once more in the palace gardens. He was weary, battered, but alive. You joke, she said softly, echoing the night they met. And yet, your jest has bound us both. Jalen looked at her, at the queen who had crossed the stars for a vow he never meant, at the woman who was both terrifying and strangely vulnerable. Then maybe it wasn't a joke after all, he said. For the first time, Seraphine did not smile with fangs. She simply took his hand, and the Queen of Shadows whispered, Then let it be a vow. Epilogue. Legends spread across the galaxy. Of the vampire queen who came when summoned. Of the mortal who dared claim her and lived. Of a jest that became a bond strong enough to shake empires. And in the twilight halls of her palace, Seraphine and Jalen ruled, not as queen and captive, but as partners. A joke had brought her across the stars, but it was choice, not chance, that kept her there. And together, they were unstoppable,